you said that you were in IT for 6 years, right?
Hmm.
And you went through those health struggles, and you went also through some relationship struggles. Now I'm talking to you, you know, you have a beautiful smile, you look great, and I'm sure you still have challenges. But my wonder is how does a person do so many changes? Also, like, you know, moving from one field to a total different field, even though you said you know a lot more, you know, in the health and fitness and helping people, but you're there for 6 years. It's not 6 minutes. It's a long time. And so how does someone, I'll say, maybe trust the process of when you're in that challenge, how do you, of health, of relationship, of needing to change a career, or maybe not needing, you didn't need to, you made a lot of money there, but wanting to change a career, how do you process that? Because now it's nice talking over here, you know, on the live, but when you were there, I'm sure it looked a little bit different.
Yeah, it was definitely it was hard. So first, that's I would say the best way to learn is and not to be afraid to fail. Of course, everyone is afraid to fail, but like not to that doesn't need to stop you from taking action. And of course, you need to calculate. It should be calculated risk, not just jump from a plane without a parachute, you know, and be like, oh, let's fail and see what will happen. You know, it should be, but and that's what I believe, that most successful people are just the ones that have failed the most, so they learn the most when you fail. And for me, as you said, 6.5 years, I was 6.5 years in IT working, and before that 6 years I was studying it. So it's like 12 years of my life, and it was not very easy. But in the same time, I was seeing other, as I told you, I'm very curious, and I really want to know what brings happiness and what makes people happy. And I believe that I'm a happy person, and most of my life I've been like a happy person, I believe, or want to believe. And I still think that I'm happy even with the challenges. I managed to. There was one very interesting book, just going a bit sideways, but that I read when I was like late teens, and there they were saying, if you have struggles and stuff like that, and you're worried about something, to ask yourself, is this thing really worth it? Is it worth to really stress about it? And that thing, at that time, I have it, I don't remember much from the book, but that's one sentence that I kind of remember. And if I ask myself, because most people, if we ask ourselves, is this thing really worth the struggle, not the struggles, the worries, the stress, the all kind of, excuse me, stuff like that, then almost all the things are not really worth it. And even if it's worth it, worrying, it doesn't make it better. So, and that's what have changed. But going back to your question about how I transitioned, so I was seeing that people that work in this industry, because the problem there is that it's not a hard job, and you kind of have some freedom, and you make good money. So you don't make you make good enough money to keep you there, but you don't make so much money that you can work a few years and then go away from it. So just the comfort zone, just the thing. And I was seeing more and more how first I was starting to feel drained from this work. And I was seeing people that, because the company, I was lucky to be in a nice company, so the work was nice, and I was doing good, and the teams were very nice, the people that were working. But I was seeing how they're all like the people that have worked many years this thing, and they're very good and they make lots of money. They were still unhappy. They were just waiting for the weekend to happen for them to kind of enjoy their life. You know, they were just from Monday to Friday, they were just going in the circle, and then they were waiting for Saturday and Sunday. And I was like, that's ridiculous. You know, you work 5 days so you can enjoy 2 days. And then I decided, okay, you know, I have this experience, and what kind of gave me confidence is that I knew some of the things, and I also knew that because of my experience and education in IT, I can always go back to it. You know, it's like if things really don't work, I can always go back to it. But because I knew that probably if I start struggling, I'll go back to it right away. I'm not going to continue pushing. I kind of burned my boats and I went to Australia, where my IT experience and education didn't mean anything, because in Australia, if it's not from Australia, then they don't like acknowledge it. So it doesn't work. Even if you have 50 years experience and you go there, it's like zero almost all the time.
Wow.
And yeah, so I kind of burned my boats, which in a way it was good, but I could have made some better decisions. And then I had lots of struggles there because I lost lots of money. I was scammed and stuff like that. But that's what I made. I kind of went very fast to it. I just saw something about Australia and I was like, okay, that's it. That's what I need to do to really force myself and challenge myself to actually do this thing. Because if I was doing it somewhere in Europe, the moment it doesn't work, I can always go back to the IT, and that was going to keep me staying in IT. Then in, who knows, in a few years, maybe I was going to try again, but I kind of burned my boats and I went all in. And of course, it was not, and it's still not an easy journey, financial wise, but otherwise I love every single day of what I do. And even with the struggles, I really enjoy doing what I do, and even with the hard things that I need to do. But you know, you need to be willing to sacrifice lots of things, because unfortunately it doesn't work right away. But if you play your game cards properly, you can create something in advance a bit, so the risk is much less. Because that's what my mistake was. I didn't when I came back from Australia, because there I had everything established and stuff like that. And when I came back, I thought that without me preparing anything in advance, I would just come and everything will work. And that's where all my struggles came after. But otherwise, as I told you, there was not even one day, because that was maybe 5 years ago. There is not even one day that I've thought I want to go back to IT, you know, and I thought of it just to go back for a bit to make some money, but never really wanted it. I was just, because I'm forced, I've had some moments that, you know, I'm struggling with the money and I really want to make it work. And so I was like, okay, maybe I should go back to IT to make some money to support the other thing. But otherwise, there is not even one day that I really wanted to go back.
Wow. So it sounds like you don't regret that sacrifice.
No, not at all. It's like really, it haven't even crossed my mind, to be honest. It's just, I guess it was, I was stuck and I just went out.
went out and, you know, just, you know, like a flower, you just bloom. It's amazing. I think, by the way, if I'll go back to that sacrifice, Milko, everyone in life makes sacrifices. You made a conscious one, you know, that you decided, you know, to do those changes, to be in that movement and always to, you know, get out of that comfort zone, push forward. But I think, and actually I know that everyone makes a sacrifice. Sometimes it's a sacrifice that we know, like you did, and sometimes it's a sacrifice of not being aware and just staying stuck where we are or feeling a victim. And I think that sacrifice is something that it's better to be aware of. That way, at least you could have some type of tools to deal with it. But I want to go a few steps back to what you said, and I really love that at the beginning. You were talking about, you know, the fear that we all have here. Fear, you know, fear is something that we all have. It's not only something that is saved for 10% of the population. It's probably there for 100% of us. And fear will be there, but you said fear shouldn't stop you. And I think that's a beautiful thing we should, you know, embrace in life. It's fine to be afraid of something. You know, back in the day, sometimes I told you my job was to protect people. Sometimes you go into an area that the person behind the wall might have a gun and want to shoot you. because you're trying to stop him from hurting other people. And the fear, you have the fear. Whoever tells you that sometimes the adrenaline is like, oh, high, but you have the fear. The fear is there, like you said. But the fear shouldn't stop us. And I really like that. And I really connect to you saying that, because some people will say, how can I eliminate the fear? No, there is science that says that not fear, you could turn anxiety into excitement. But most of us, I'll say all of us, have fear in a lot of fields in life, and it's fine. We could embrace it and walk through it, go inside. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. If you haven't yet, please smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, the most amazing things in life are the ones you take for granted.